Good evening, it's 8 o'clock. I'm Sally Baudet, live from Johannesburg. Your top stories tonight. The president makes some changes to his cabinet, but the opposition says the cuts don't go far enough. This is Shelton Karuarue, stabbed to death in the school toilets. A 17-year-old suspect is due in court tomorrow.
Hashtag enough is enough. Hashtag sakwenele.
Justice served for the victims of the taxi rapist who terrorized women in Johannesburg for months. President Cyril Ramaphosa has made a few changes to his cabinet, but controversial Minister of Women in the presidency, Bathabile Dlamini, has survived the reshuffle. She's partly responsible for leaving grant beneficiaries uncertain over payments for months after SASSA was plunged into crisis. Another change sure to raise eyebrows is Nomvula Mokonyani's appointment as the Minister of Environmental Affairs. Nicholas Bauer takes a look at the president's choices.
I've decided to make the following appointments.
The second reshuffle in Cyril Ramaphosa's 9-month presidency. Siyabonga Cwele replaces Malusi Gigaba at Home Affairs, bringing experience from his stints at the State Security and Telecommunications and Postal Services departments. That ministry will now be headed up by Stella Ndabeni-Abrahams, its former deputy minister. She's seen as a rising star in ANC circles, and her ascension is in no doubt Ramaphosa's attempt to incorporate more youth in his executive. Ndabeni-Abrahams will too preside over the Department of Communications, which has been merged with telecommunications.
This move is going to ensure that we have better alignment and coordination of matters that are critical to the future of our economy, particularly in the context of the fourth industrial revolution.
Leaving Nomvula Mokonyani to take up the post of Minister of Environmental Affairs, left vacant after the death of Edna Molewa. Mokonyani will no doubt face stiff scrutiny after facing allegations of leaving the Water and Sanitation Department on the brink of bankruptcy in her post before taking over the communications portfolio. The president says further modifications will be made to cabinet after the 2019 general elections, giving the impression of confidence ahead of next year's crucial poll. Nicholas Bauer, Johannesburg.
Some political parties have welcomed Stella Ndabeni-Abrahams' promotion, but many feel that the cabinet changes have not been extensive enough.
It is very clear that this reshuffle was actually done in the collective interest of a divided ANC as opposed to the collective interest of the country, because he still has the difficult job of wanting to pull together the warring factions within the ANC.
We must welcome Stella because that's a statement of confidence to young black female talent. However, the cabinet still remains with people who have not really added any value to society. I mean, people like Jeff Khatebe and Naledi Pando, what is their role in cabinet? Why are they still ministers? They've been ministers since the late 1990s.
It's a son of a president that is very weak and incapable of acting on matters that are very clear, such as removing Bathabile Dlamini, who is dead wood in that cabinet.
We haven't had anything from the president with regards to any decision making on her, and the fact that she remains in parliament, in cabinet, shows that, you know, the president is weakened, and when the going gets tough, he has chosen to go the route of just shifting people rather than making sure that he takes them out of parliament. What we are seeing here is a recycling of the same liars and failures from the Zuba cabinet.
I have to say well done for actually merging communication and telecommunication. But unfortunately what we've seen today is just that ANC politics has been put first again.
To the Northwest Province, and the family of 7-year-old Shelton Karuarue simply cannot believe that he is gone. The little boy was stabbed to death in the toilets at his school yesterday in Makapanstad. The 17-year-old suspect, who's believed to have had a relationship with Shelton's older sister, is expected to appear in the Themba Magistrates Court tomorrow. Masejo Ratlacha reports on a devastated family.
Unable to walk or talk, little Shelton Karuarue's mother, Eugenia, is visibly shattered. when the 7-year-old went to use the toilet at Dikeledi Makapan Primary School on Wednesday morning. Danger lurked as his killer sat waiting with a knife in hand. There are still traces of blood in the toilet where the little boy took his last breath. His family says it's at a loss for words.
We just feel like it's lying. People, they are lying. We just talk to us, no man, they are lying. But at the end, we just see it's very pain. And we don't even understand even now. Because it's our lovely boy. Our last born.
As her sister sobs on her shoulder, Shelton's aunt tells us that the little boy had big dreams.
He was planning to buy a house for the mother and the father. He was planning to be a lawyer, like he was grade 1. Yeah, so he was having wishes.
Northwest Education MEC Cyril Ramaphosa also came through to console the family and has promised government will give them support. The little boy's family is still yet to decide whether he will be buried here in South Africa or Zimbabwe. Masego Makapanstad in the Northwest.
Well, there's some justice today for the victims of the so-called taxi rapist. The man who terrorized, raped and robbed women in Johannesburg will spend the rest of his life behind bars. Lebogang Gift Mokoena was linked to the crimes through DNA testing. Slindile Masikani reports.
I'm on Main Reef Road in Johannesburg, which is just one of the routes Lebogang Mokoena used in his 13-month reign of terror. The serial rapist operated around Boysens, Soweto, Rudaput and Orange Farm. Mokoena would force his victims into his Toyota Quantum taxi, force his penis into their mouths, rape them without a condom and rob them. He was found guilty in October on 13 counts of rape, 9 of kidnapping, robbery with aggravating circumstances, pointing an object that resembles a firearm, and 2 counts of assisting someone to commit an offense. Awaiting his fate, Mokoena appeared emotionless in the dock. The judge made it clear that his sentence needed to serve as a deterrent and a warning.
There is simply no other appropriate sentence to be imposed upon the accused but that of life imprisonment on the rape convictions.
On the 21st of March 2017, Cindy Khatebe had no idea the taxi she was taking home would change her life forever.
I remember looking down and there was just tears. I picked up my eyes and looked at him again, and I just told myself, it's done with him and my life is going on. So basically he thought he took a part of me, but now the whole of him is gone. I've still got me to live for. Yeah.
The Community Safety Department says the sentence is a victory against gender-based violence. The court says it was necessary to send a strong message that violence against women and children will no longer go unpunished.
And children is #enough is enough. #Sakwenele.
Slindile Masikani in Ekurhuleni.
In other news making headlines, the North Gauteng High Court has ruled that titanium mining cannot go ahead in Xolobeni in the Eastern Cape without the consent of the community. Residents took the matter to court, arguing it would have devastating impact on them and the environment. Australian mining firm Transworld Energy and Minerals wanted to mine titanium in the area. Mineral Resources Minister Gwede Mantashe says the ruling takes away the state's rights to issue mining licenses. He says there may not be any mining as a result. And there's been shocked reaction to the news that soccer legend Mike Mangena is among those arrested in connection with drug manufacturing. Now, 4 suspects, including the former Kaizer Chiefs player, were nabbed yesterday when officers raided his Randfontein property. They believe a drug lab was operating from the premises. Still ahead on eNews, progress at last, it seems, as the UK and the EU agree on a draft declaration on post-Brexit relations. And of course, all your money news with Mateo.
Well, the Reserve Bank raising interest rates today and the Rand reacting positively to those news.
Let's get all your money news now with Mateo Garipe. Good evening, Mateo. And let's start with what I personally am calling the Black Friday buzzkill, that interest rate hike. What is it going to mean for consumers?
Well, given that South Africans, spend a lot, I wouldn't call it a buzzkill. They'll do it anyway. But in terms of interest rates, Lesija Kganyago coming out today and saying they have no choice but to raise the interest rate by 25 basis points and leaves it the repo rate at 6.75%. What that means for consumers basically is that the interest rate that banks charge us for borrowing money will go up. So mortgages, your car repayment, and also some personal loans that you may have with banks will go up. But why the Reserve Bank is going this direction? Well, we've seen inflation go up close to that 6% target, and they're feeling that by raising these interest rates, they have that in check to about 4%, so that the cost of food and services goes down as well. But of course, as a consumer, if you are one that is rather in debt, then you might find yourself in a bad spot. But if you've been saving, it also is a great time, because also the raising of interest rates is not always bad news for everyone. If you've been saving and you have savings, then you have higher returns on some of those savings. So it's a balanced one if you like. But the Reserve Bank saying today they're starting to go on that hiking cycle that they expect will end in 2020. So that's about 7 hikes in that period.
Oh boy. Now, before I dust off my credit card and get it ready for Black Friday tomorrow, tell me whether I'm going to get duped. Should I spend tomorrow? Is it a good opportunity to get some bargains, or should I be more cautious about my spending?
Well, analysts say we should be more cautious because this has been used as a marketing tool, and we spoke to one earlier today, Ms. Krichel, and she says, you know what, this is a marketing tool, so be careful.
Black Friday, I suppose, have positives and negatives. Positives being for the businesses in the retail side, people being employed in the retail side, they would all benefit from it. But the consumers out there that spend money that they don't have could, as you say, very much potentially get into debt over their heads that they can't pay back. We as South Africans are notoriously bad savers.
It's all very good advice. Let's hope we all take it. Let's look at the indicators.
Well, the market was a bit low today with the all share going down on the day. Industrials, though, were up 0.5%, with financials strong at the back of a stronger rand. In terms of mining shares, well, they were down today. Gold was down 0.26%, while resources as a whole were also in negative territory. Price of gold now at $1,227 an ounce, while Brent crude keeping low today at $62.90 a barrel. The rand strong today at 13.76 against the dollar, it's at 15.70 against the euro, and also firm against the pound at 17.70.
I have to ask, are you going to go shopping tomorrow for Black Friday?
A little bit.
A little bit. Okay, I like that answer. Thank you very much, Mateo Garipe. Let's move to news now from further afield. And the process of the UK leaving the European Union with a deal in place is making some progress. British Prime Minister Theresa May says a draft declaration on post-Brexit ties with the EU has been agreed on with the European Commission.
This is the right deal for the UK. It delivers on the vote of the referendum. It brings back control of our borders, our money and our laws. And it does so while protecting jobs, protecting our security and protecting the integrity of the United Kingdom. The agreement we've reached is between the UK and the European Commission. It is now up to the 27 leaders of the other EU member states to examine this agreement in the days leading up to the special EU Council meeting on Sunday.
Well, still ahead, we've got Candace in Cape Town with your weather. Hi there, Candace. And then a remarkable animal rescue story. It started in Ukraine and has ended in the Eastern Cape. Let's get our weather as we head closer to the weekend. Candace McKechnie, good evening. How's it looking?
Hi Sally. Well, we've had a bit of a lull in the weather today, but things are definitely going to pick up again as we head towards the weekend. Even tomorrow is relatively quiet. We've got a bit of a ridging high which pushes in a bit of morning fog and drizzle, mainly along the escarpment, and that also results in a slightly cooler day over the northeastern part of South Africa. Other than that though, we're expecting sunny and hot weather over the western half of the country, and as we head into the afternoon we'll see isolated thundershowers forming over the northeastern and eastern interior. The Northern Cape can expect a fine and dry into the work week, sizzling hot in Uppington at 38. Into the mid-30s for Passersburg, Kimberley and Prieska, with a cold start to the day for Sutherland at 2 degrees. It'll be a warmer day for the Western Cape, Worcester and Vredendal at 33. Cape Town is sunny, 27, mild though as we head towards George at 22. You'll also see warmer temperatures into the Eastern Cape, with most of that cloud along the coast and the adjacent lying interior. Aliwal North even topping 31 degrees. A bit of rain still for Lundi and Richards Bay, overcast for Durban and Port Shepstone at 23, with thundershowers over the northwestern part of KwaZulu-Natal as well as on Mpumalanga Highveld. We're expecting a cooler day here, Secunda at 27, 26 for Bombela with a possibility of morning drizzle, and that morning fog and drizzle also extends through to Zanin and Toya and Do, with isolated thundershowers over the southern and southwestern part of the province. Another hot day is in store for northwest with up to a 40% chance of thundershowers, except over the far western part where a mostly clearer day is expected and a high of 33 degrees. Bloemfontein partly cloudy at 32, with Bethlehem and Harrismith heading into the upper 20s with up to a 40% chance of thundershowers. A slightly cooler day for Gauteng on Friday, Soweto and Johannesburg both at 27, 30 degrees for Pretoria with isolated afternoon and evening thundershowers. As we head towards the weekend, you'll see thunderstorms from Mahikeng all the way through to the coast, with a sunny and pleasant day for Cape Town at 27. On Sunday, we're expecting sizzling hot temperatures over the northern part of South Africa. We'll see a bit of light rain into George and Port Elizabeth, with those thunderstorms really settling in across South Africa from the northern interior through to the coast. And you'll see a sizzling hot day for KwaZulu-Natal as well as the Lowveld. That's all from the Weather Centre for now. I'll be back again tomorrow with updates for you.
Thank you very much, Candace McKechnie. Well, finally, this evening, 4 lions rescued from captivity in Eastern Europe have landed safely in South Africa. They got to feel the African soil under their paws for the very first time earlier this morning. A South African animal rights activist living in the Ukraine fought for the lions to be transferred here. It's taken over a year of planning to get the right paperwork and the money to pay for moving the lions to South Africa. The cats will spend the rest of their lives at the Kragakama Game Park in the Eastern Cape. Let's recap your top stories this evening. The President makes some changes to his cabinet, but the opposition says the cuts don't go far enough. This is Shelton Karuwarue stabbed to death in the school toilets. A 17-year-old suspect is due in court tomorrow. His family, of course, utterly devastated. From me and the team, it's a very good night.